Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I've been really quiet about this issue right here. I just kind of been waiting to see how things unfold. And I kind of felt like Brett Kavanaugh was going to be selected. And at some point, they were going to support him no matter what. And I felt like a lot of this media circus was just really phony and it was just a setup to make it look as though they were doing all of this background checking and drilling and grilling at him and all these hearings, because really what they wanted to do was go forward with their decision in selecting him for SCOTUS. And so I felt like all of this was just a circus because it comes at a time when Bill Cosby, who was known as America's TV dad in the African American community and outside of the African American community, as well as the America's squeaky clean TV dad, was brought from his highest of high pinnacle of having it all down to nothing, to serving time 3 to 10 years and doing 3 of the 10 in federal prison for his part in the issues behind uh, the women that had accused him of his crimes. And so I feel like all of this was a circus just to build everybody's hopes up and to get everybody riled up. And now, legitimately, I do believe this situation is very much of a hot topic. And so there's an article now showing Susan Collins' support of Brett Kavanaugh. And Senator Susan Collins, in the beginning, she wasn't supporting him, supposedly. But all of a sudden, tables have turned. And so this does not sit well with a lot of people. And so it says, "You are a betrayer of women. Celebrities are reacting to Senator Susan Collins' support of Brett Kavanaugh." And so this is by a Rachel Leon Schufelt. And so this is in Yahoo, and I'm looking at them. This is the Senator Susan Collins right here. And so a lot of people were really pushing for her to be a game changer in this whole fiasco. So Senator Susan Collins broke hearts Friday in Hollywood and elsewhere around the country with an announcement that she will vote for President Trump's nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. So in a lengthy speech on the Senate floor, the Republican from Maine ended speculation that she would dissent from the rest of her party and block the nomination. So while the official vote isn't expected until Saturday, Kavanaugh now has a clear path to a lifetime appointment on the highest court in the land, despite the sexual misconduct allegations that have been brought against him by Christine Blasey Ford. And so she recently was involved in a really lengthy hearing with Brett Kavanaugh. And so underneath this article is a list of some of the celebrities who were against this senator falling in line and giving support to Brett Kavanaugh. And so this is a pretty hot topic. I want to also add that Weinstein has bailed himself out. Somehow he's gotten bail money to bail himself out from his crimes. And so I want you to take a close look at all of this. For those of you who are really paying attention, because you notice if you got the money or if you are the right persuasion, in other words, if you're the right makeup, um, of President Trump. And so a lot of people are reacting to this decision. Susan Collins gets to go on about Kavanaugh, but senators are limited to 5 minutes of questions during a hearing for a lifetime appointment. This is by Kathy Griffin. We know who she is, if unless you've been living under a rock. So she's very vocal about these political issues, as is some of the others. But Susan Collins says that she will vote to confirm Kavanaugh partially because the man who lied repeatedly in his confirmation hearings told her he considered Roe settled law, and that's the Roe versus Wade um, historical case that happened. So, Senator Collins, there is still time to change your mind and do the right thing. So that is by the horror writer Stephen King. Even he is not in agreement with this pick. As a Buddhist, it is my practice to have compassion for all people, but at Senator Collins is really testing my limits right now. That is George Takei. Uh, you and the opportunity to claim a legacy is as pivotal, forward thinking voice in the enterprise of the progressive of culture evolution. Alas, at Senator Collins, you will fade into history as a follower and not a leader. And so that's by a Seth MacFarlane. Women not believing women, assuring the rise of toxic masculinity and giving it a permanent home. I feel utter despair right now. Funding Susan Collins' Democrat opponent won't save the generations of women whose lives will suffer because of Kavanaugh donating away. Okay. And that's by Minnie Driver. And so that's pretty much a lot of the people who are very disgruntled by this woman, Susan Collins, who will vote to confirm Brett Kavanaugh to Supreme Court Justice. And so this can change a lot of lives. A lot of people can be affected by this gravely, and it can really go on for maybe a decade or two. And so this is not, maybe 3 decades even, depending on how, the lifespan of a person, you know, is in who holds these seats. And so that I believe this seat is long standing, as a matter of fact. And so this is very, very, very hot button topic case that has been gone through a lot of hearings, a lot of grilling, a lot of asking questions and statements and what have you. And so you can look it up on social media. It's probably on most of the social media outlets where you can view the hearings. And so with this many people who feel this strongly about this issue, what do you think? Your thoughts and feedback on this? Because this right here is very, very serious because it can affect many, many people and women generations to come. And so if you just look up some of the things that he supported, that's why they pulled out a lot of paperwork. They did some, digging in his history and his past at what activities he had partook in and what things he was invested in, some of his decisions, some of his opinions, things that are very crucial as to what kind of person he would be in his position that he's about to foretake. And so that could affect millions, probably many people in this country of the US, and they don't even realize, some probably don't even realize how serious this is. And so this woman, she in the beginning had said that she was not going to back this guy. And she was really wavering on the issue, is what they, at least that's how it started off. But like I said, in my opinion, and I'm giving my opinion on this, I feel like this was just really a floor show because there was so many issues that were happening under the hashtag Me Too movement. And, with the whole thing behind all these entertainers and these really high profile people, even news people who were getting caught with sexual misconduct and sexual allegations made against them. I mean, really heavy hitters in Hollywood, Weinstein, and I feel like there were a lot of people that were making comments and opinions on how they felt about these issues. Should they do this? How do they feel about the issues with Bill Cosby? And do they believe the women? Should they have more evidence? And it was back and still back and forth. So with this coming to fruition right here, this Brett Kavanaugh being the scout's pick and Trump wanting to support him, and with you know, his past and some of his credibility is sort of checkerboard, a lot of people really question who is this Brett Kavanaugh and his, you know, background. And that's when all of the skeletons seem to come rolling out one by one as to his character in terms of who he is or whom he is as a person, what he would probably be like. And so they want to be careful, supposedly, of who they pick in these really, really high seats that can really change lives and change the world. And so this is serious. It's not some little place where you can just fire somebody and they'll go away. Maybe pursue another career or another job elsewhere. It's not that simple. And so with all of this, I feel like really somebody deep down inside, there's another little group hidden that knew what this outcome was going to be. But they said, with all the Me Too and all of the things that are going on right now, we need to stall. Because if we just elect Brett Kavanaugh with all this Me Too and all of the stuff with Weinstein and Bill Cosby, he's going to prison, it's going to look like, yeah, racist. Straight up, it's going to look like something's not right. Something's really, really wrong about this whole thing. They're not being fair. They just let this black man go all the way down from way up from as high as he could go, or as they would let him go, and just everything gone. His credibility, his hard work, the image that he has now is forever tarnished. Some of the merits that he received, they've been taken away or withdrawn. With all of this, and then the Weinstein incident, and then there were news anchors and people who were getting busted because people were coming out and expressing what was happening with them. They said, no, we have to stall this. This is a big, big position, a serious seat in the SCOTUS that could change lives for a couple of decades or so, generations to come. And so we have to make this look good. How are we going to do that? We're going to go through a proceeding where we're going to grill him. we're going to grill, we're going to bring out all of the wolves and all of the sheeps, and we're going to just put on the show, the media circus. Here we go. Somebody whipped that thing up, put it together, and you had this media just come out, and then here the floor show goes. And then next thing you know, you have all these people riled up because there are some people that believe that this was not fair and this is really serious and they're playing with people's lives. And then there's another side that they're all about their Republican values and keeping with the Joneses and following suit and giving all the utmost support to Donald Trump and his group of right-wingers and whatever else they believe in. And so that's where all this is coming from. And, you know, I'm trying to say it in the most diplomatic way that I can without being insulting, but I feel like it was just a floor show. And I knew that he was going to be elected hands down because I really feel like this system, him being there, it has to do with people who are, you notice they only have Clarence Thomas, and we know what happened with that with Anita Hill. And so even though he's black, it doesn't, I have to be honest, it doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean that he's in full support of people of color, even though he is a man of color himself. But a lot of this seemed like it was more not just about the color of the skin, it was more about a gender issue. And, if you go back into history and look at what happened with the Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas case, I would believe that alone would tell you, oh, they're going to pick Brett Kavanaugh. Hands down, because they still went ahead and elected Clarence Thomas. Despite all of what came up about him, he still was able to keep his job or advance forward. And so it didn't matter how women were treated. And so it looks as though that thing has not changed. Even in the year of 2018, 2019, you still have a group of folks who kind of want women to be dominated by this messed up pick. And so we'll only see the effects of this if he is to actually officially get in there. But his foot is far in the door, I can tell you that. You might as well just pick him because that's what they want to do anyway. And so all of this was just really for show, if you ask me. I think they were going to pick him. I think they knew they were going to pick him, but they had to make this look good in media so that it could fulfill the needs of individuals, so they could say, well, they went through a proceeding, they went through a hearing, they asked questions, they did give everybody a chance. No, they didn't. They already knew they were going to pick him. They just wanted to make time to stall so they can make it look good. And so I am not shocked by this. So anyway, there's a video that's attached to it with Susan Collins, and I believe her statement, and the weeks of suspense on Friday, and her announcing her pick, or her support rather. So it may begin with a commercial, so I'll wait until the commercial finally ends, and then I will turn up the volume. But as this is going on, I really don't feel shocked behind this, not one bit.
Mr. President, I will vote to confirm Judge Kavanaugh. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, I'm trying to bring it back up. So if you didn't see it that time, I'm going to try to bring it back up. But I really feel like he was going to get picked regardless. And so I'm going to play it one more time. It had a commercial. And so, yes, and it was just to hold people off. So this was the article right here. This was what I was reading, and it was about Senator Susan Collins' support of Brett Kavanaugh, and he is supposedly a scoutist pick. Donald Trump is behind him. And this article is by Rachel Leon Schufelt. And so this is out of the Yahoo, and these are reporters around her. And so I pretty much was reading about how a lot of people in Hollywood that this could change a lot of lives. And it doesn't look well. It doesn't feel well. It feels as though I'm probably right when I say that probably some of the things I'm saying is why people are voicing their opinions about the concern of this Brett Kavanaugh being picked for SCOTUS. And so it's you see the floor show here, the media circus. It was just crazy. And for weeks on end, they were grilling, they were asking questions, they were digging in the past of individuals. And you would have thought they would have said, well, we found enough evidence to say, this right here, maybe we should go and do some more research and find other candidates that may be better suited for this position, because this is pretty much putting a high seat position that this person is going to partake. They're going to be involved in a lot of women's lives. Abortion is one. There's a lot of things that can happen and maybe take place and change a lot of lives, all behind one pick. On this media circus and all this grilling, I feel like it really was a floor show because of all of the other people that went down under this Me Too movement. And they figured, well, we got to make this look good. We got to buy some time. We got to, even go through the investigation. Have to make this look good, look like, we really did our digging, our research. Well, it's not enough to really push him out. It's just an excuse to really just elect him, select him, or whatever it is that they want to say. I felt they were gonna pick him regardless because of the nature of these individuals. I feel like they don't look at women as being, important. Our needs, you know, some of the things that some of the women have expressed. The only reason why I feel that Bill Cosby went down like he did, um, other than I'm not saying that he wasn't, he didn't partake and he wasn't guilty, but I feel like he went all the way down hard. And I feel a lot of it was because of race. And, you know, I feel that the reason why Weinstein, he can bail himself out. He's a wealthy white male, and he happens to be Jewish, and he's full of money. He's acquired so much money. He has enough money to get himself out of trouble, and plus he's white. I don't know how else to put it. I feel that has a lot of weight in this world for some individuals, that if you're in a situation, you might be able to get out of it quicker than the next person, you know. And then gender plays a part in issues as well. You know, I feel like men have more privileges in terms of being listened to, being taken serious, heard. Uh, Even if they've been accused of some kind of crime, they would hear them first. If it's a woman, she is not going to be heard as quickly, unless, however, I feel there's a little fine line. If it's a woman of color, she may not be heard at all. But if it's a woman, however, that is not of color, that happens to be white, her needs might be put more at the forefront rather than the woman that is of color or the woman that is black. It's, a done deal. We have to listen to this woman. Something must have happened. We got to take her serious. But when it's a woman that is African American or she's a woman of color, they got to, see if you're telling the truth or you're making a story or whatever. They don't readily believe you. And I kind of feel like that's the way the social structure of the world is kind of made up of, is where they pick and choose who is more credible based on gender, based on nationality or race. And it is unfair. There is some unfairness to it because it doesn't really um, show people for who they really are, in terms of, okay, genuinely their heart, if they're really honest. And despite what gender they are, this person probably is telling the truth about what has happened to her. Just because she's, not white doesn't mean that she has to be telling falsehood. And so I kind of feel that the way of the world, the way it's set up, is to make people have to kind of prejudge individuals based on how they look. Oh, it's a woman. They always complain. Oh, it's a man. Okay, so let's pay attention to what he's saying. So maybe there's some truth in it there. Uh, where is he from? What language does the person speak? What, how strong is their credibility? And then if you're like somebody that's educated and you're white and you're Republican, and yes, you have to put politics in there. That's the way this world is set up. It's not just only by, just, how people think about religion or how people view people in and just on skin color only. Some people do kind of pick and choose people based on political, um, what their political beliefs are as well. And so you have to put that in there because some people, will choose their favorites, or they're people that they feel are going to support them, or they're going to be a follower, or either they're going to, be more believable or whatever that they feel that it is. But I felt like they were going to pick Brett Kavanaugh despite all of this media frenzy. I felt like this was pretty much a setup so that it looked good because of all of what was going on. That's what I felt that this whole thing was. I feel this makes people feel, okay, now the floor show is over. We can go ahead and make the pick. We don't see anything happening right now. Bill's, he's incarcerated. Weinstein, he bailed himself out. We can't, it's not our fault. We can't do anything about that. Okay, let's go ahead and pick Brett Kavanaugh now. Everything's kind of winding down a little bit. Not so, because people are looking at this, they're watching, and there are a lot of angry people out there right now feeling like somebody is not being fair. And it's not just one somebody, there's many bodies that are not being fair right now. And they're not looking at this for what it really is. And this is really detrimental to the lives of women for many decades to come. These decisions don't get changed, just change when it comes to this group. And so I did mention the Anita Hill and if you look back into that, you'll see that this heavily too weighs on gender. It's a gender war with it all in this right here. And so it's not just only you have to also look at who they're made up of. You got Republicans and then you got your Democrats, because that's the way these people think. They're not thinking about, I'm praying to Allah, and I'm a black a militant. I'm supportive of this group and I'm supportive of that group, but I don't even play in the arena of politics. No, they kind of throw that in there because they're heavily invested in these politics. These politics are what keep them in business, and so it also keeps them televised. And so you have to add that in there. Now, there are smaller arenas where maybe politics are not as big of an issue. You have to consider politics with certain individuals because that's the way they play this game. And so even if the politics are a front for something that is negative, you have to put that in there because that's how they play this game. And so I heard a video earlier where some lady was saying, oh, it's not about the Republicans. It's not about the Democrats. It's not about, well, that's the way in this world, that's the way some people play this game. Even if you have to use those terms as fronts for something, for a hidden agenda. And so a lot of people do that. They put on their game face. And so when they did all of this, I felt, like I said, repeating it again, that it was a floor show. And, think about it. This lady, Susan Collins, is a Republican. And so what is she supporting? Republicans. So she has some partial support for them because that's what she is, a Republican. So who would have thought that she was going to be the swing vote? Some did. She did kind of had people going for a moment there. She made people think that she was going to, by her being a woman herself, that she was going to say, this could affect my great-granddaughter or granddaughter. I might not pick him, based on that. Forget me being a Republican. It's about, women's rights. But how is this game being played? And then think about it. Do you really think that that was just her choice alone? Or is she feeling pressured because other Republicans are saying, well, it's going to be a unanimous pick, whether you're on board or not, you're not going to be able to really, really stop this. The ball's going to keep rolling. We'll just hang in there longer until they finally do pick him. But I believe she was gonna partially pick him anyways. I believe all of this was a floor show. And so anyway, I read the article, and so I'm going to pan down. There was a video that was attached to it. And I was going to try to see if I could pull it back up again. So this is a big thing. There are like 4,357 people that are reacting behind this. And so this is front and center. So Collins' speech reflects deepening divisions in the U.S. And so I heard this video by this young woman, and she was saying, oh, it's not about the Democrats. It's not about the Republicans. Well, that's the way they play this game. So anyway, I think the video is down below. So this was her, and it was real short. She just basically, you could hear her saying that she had given her partial or her support for Donald Trump's pick of Brett Kavanaugh. And then they had all of what was underneath all of the things that he had been allegedly accused of. And so it's accompanied in the beginning with a commercial, and then it goes into her finally shows her giving of her support. So a lot of celebrities are not happy with this at all. And I'm in agreement with them on the comments that they made earlier. I'm not happy with it either.
I will vote to confirm Judge Kavanaugh. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, so tomorrow is when they're finally going to make their decision to pick Kavanaugh for this seat. And so he's going to be the pick. And so I believe they were going to pick him anyway, like I said. So I don't know. What do you think about this? This is kind of disturbing, because for them to put on this floor show like this and to build everybody up with the hope that maybe people want change, and you see that people don't want change. And so I too feel honestly that there's a group of people, and I know this may sound kind of out of pocket for some, but I really do believe this might be more. I could say this honestly is my opinion. I feel like there's another group of people in the background whom call the shots, and they're monitoring all of these things, these events, and they can pretty much say who has the green light and who doesn't. And when it comes to this country, US, there are people who are in high places who can make these things happen or not happen. And whether people agree or don't agree with it, I feel like money is an issue in this. I feel like, if you can pay people to, do what they expect of you, um, people will change their tune. I really do feel that people can be bought, with the right price, when it comes to issues like this as well. I know that sounds far-fetched, but I'm not really um, going to say that, I'm all about um, making up strange theories, but I feel like there are some people that are heavy hitters in high places that have money and they can make things happen or not make things happen. And they know how to put on a show too, so that they can, you know, stall the world and, bring media attention and focus on certain current events. And whatever current event is hot button, or is about whatever is happening in this world today, they can make it an issue or not. And they can do something about it. And so this right here, I feel like a lot of people are not happy right now at what is happening. And this is going to affect a lot of people. And so I'm really glad that Hollywood is being a lot more vocal now than what it used to be. They are showing their concern about a lot of these issues, which really says a lot about how people are trying to, give their input, and they're not just sitting back and pretending like these things don't matter when they do, because all of us are in this, whether we like it or not, male, female, whatever background you're from. And so this is going to affect a lot of people. And so despite what people are thinking out there are people that can control things and make things happen, whether you like it or not. And so I even feel like even out of the US, they can they can they can make things happen. They can say, okay, we're going to feed this country. We're going to pull resources from this country, or we're going to give resources back to this country. And there are some people that can make these things happen. But you never see their face. You never know their name and who they are. They kind of are back in the shadows somewhere. But with this, I feel like somebody set this whole thing up right here. They knew with what was going on, we better make this look good. Well, with that being said, I'm going to let this video go, but this right here, I'm looking at this, and this is really not very shocking to me whatsoever. Thanks for listening.